In a consumer culture dominated by corporate spectacle, marginalized founders are building something different. Not just brands, but community. Today, we're exploring what it means to resist cultural dominance through entrepreneurship and creating our own path. Hi everyone, I'm Belize, and this is Socially Speaking, a show where I talk current events and place them in the sociological patterns they reside in. And today we have founder and CEO of InnovateTheLabel, Helen Mantilla.
Hi guys.
A beauty retailer that is hosting Beauty in the Community this upcoming April in Orlando.
Yes.
Hi, Helen. How are you?
I'm good, Belize. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm so excited for you to share your story and share your time with us here because I'm really, really excited to talk all about your purpose and your background with InnovateTheLabel and Beauty in the Community.
Yes,
Yay.
let's do it.
I wanted to get into first talking about identity and origins. So I wanted to ask, how did InnovateTheLabel start?
Yeah, so great question. So InnovateTheLabel started out a sister brand to my other company that's called HM Agency. So both are beauty industry companies. And what I really wanted for InnovateTheLabel was to kind of create a space for indie, Latina owned, and like marginalized brands to be part of and feel seen and heard.
Nice. I love that. Was there a specific moment you realized that you needed this, especially InnovateTheLabel, to exist?
Yes. I do feel like just getting out into the retail world for indie and like Latina owned brands is so difficult. So we wanted to create the space, like especially because of that reason, like to have, you know, a place where people could feel like they belong. So, you know, I feel like it is definitely very necessary and, you know, kind of the reason why we wanted to bring it to life.
Yay! It's so exciting. And how did this turn from something that you enjoyed and you saw and you experienced to something you felt you needed to implement?
So this became a thing because we, you know, experienced a lot of like hesitation from retailers for the brands that we manage on the HM agency side. So I think the hesitation was really because of like packaging and, you know, we the brands that we work with use a lot of like words and like Spanglish and, you know, on the packaging. So, you know, it's still something that I feel like people are trying to figure out if it belongs in like the mainstream visibility. So, you know, that's pretty much why we were like, you know what? No, I don't think we need to change anything about the packaging. I think we're fine. I think we just need a, like, this is our time. This is our moment.
Oh, yeah. We need our own space.
Yeah.
We need our own community, as you should.
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to ask, you talk a lot about representation. What does representation mean for you, especially as a Latina founder and owner? How do you perceive or approach representation now, knowing that?
Yeah, so for us, it does mean a lot of like making sure we have different types of cultures because when it comes to the Latino community, like we're from everywhere, you know, everybody has their own different cultures. So for us, it's just really important, you know, to make sure we're representing like all types of Latinos.
Yeah, of course, of course. That diversity is really there.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
diversity. Exactly.
Amazing, amazing. Is there something, especially because you're talking about representation and your experiences, was there something personally that you experienced in the beauty industry that made you feel unseen or excluded even, maybe?
Yeah, so I think in general, like my personal experience has been more so where it's a very male dominated industry. Well, at least it was before. I feel like now it's starting to change, but when I first started, that was kind of like where the exclusion kind of came from. So, you know, I kind of ventured off and started my own thing because I wanted to kind of create my own, you know, space so that people that I work with can feel included and not having to like compete with one another in that sense. So, you know, that's kind of from my personal journey, you know, what I experienced. Yeah.
Of course. It changes the dynamics too a little bit, especially considering what you've already experienced and how you go about it and being like, no, I can actually make everyone feel included this way.
Exactly.
Love that. Where do you see Innovate taking off in terms of creating space, building community, and what this looks like in action? Like, how do you actually plan that out?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. I mean, for us, community is first. So we are, in essence, a retailer. We carry all different types of brands and all of that, but we are different in the sense that we don't have like physical brick and mortar stores like all over, you know, the country. But where we make up for it is we create these community events where we can give brands a space like in person without having to have retail stores everywhere.
Especially considering that like community events are really where you see not just the inclusion, but the interaction. The interaction is the best part, which is really, really cool. I really like what you're doing.
And people crave it. Like people are asking for this. It's a huge demand, and like we're just so happy. I feel like we're at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So for us, it's a really big opportunity.
Of course, of course. In a beauty industry that often markets inclusion as a marketing strategy, how do you make sure that community isn't just an aesthetic, but rather something that is tangible, that you could see, you know?
So I think for us, being able to be inclusive to people, giving them the opportunity to be part of this event in the sense of like making it, the doing different price tickets and like making sure they have enough time to plan for their trip to this location. So like keeping them involved, us posting on social media and asking questions. And like we also did a form where we wanted to like actively engage people, get their opinions, and like have them help us create something that they want realistically. So I think it's just a lot of like involvement of like everybody in the community.
Especially considering that there's so much hype around beauty events right now. Do you think customers often confuse the show or the spectacle with what's actually being delivered to them?
Yeah, I do think that there is this spectacle, as you said, of like people feeling that, these events are really made to get just a bunch of free products.
Right.
But I feel like,
so true.
Yeah, I feel like especially because of the form, what we learned is that people don't just want free product. They want a really great experience. And that's really what they're going to these or wanting to get out of these events. Of course, everybody loves free stuff, but like there has to be more to it.
Of course, of course. Mentioning beauty events and how we're talking about Ulta Beauty World, which, kind of has been the great big catalyst to all this, really. Ulta Beauty World itself received a lot of mixed reactions, especially around ticket pricing, access, and the overall launch process. What do you see differently? And when you were planning beauty in the community itself, what did you learn from seeing all that unfold?
Yeah, so for us, we just had to act very quickly because we did see this opportunity of like, there's a lot of people that booked their flights, they booked their hotels, they had very much in their head that they were going to be at this event. So for us, we really only have 3 months to plan this event. And, a lot of the decisions we've made up to this point have been either based on our previous events that we've done in the past, but also kind of like trying to figure out how we could make it a really great experience, because at the same time, since we are not, this big conglomerate retailer, we do have a lot of really great partnerships with brands and whatnot, but, the reality is like we're not going to see those huge brands that you're probably going to see at other events. So for us, we're making up for it in the experience.
As you should, honestly, because that's where the real actual interaction and meaning comes in, And at Socially Speaking, that's all we do care about is the community and the meaning behind what actually people do and why they do it. When you're talking about planning beauty in the community as well, it's the same weekend as Ulta Beauty World. What are you guys doing differently, especially considering the corporate backing you guys don't have that Ulta does have,
Yeah, I think something that was really great about this experience in particular is that we did get a lot of interest from different sponsors. So like, for example, the venue, we do have a partner that is Margaritaville in Orlando. So that definitely helped. It's going to be a very beautiful space. It's indoor and outdoor space. So we just feel like it's giving more of like this like festival vibe that I think people are really going to enjoy. So it's kind of like just that, exactly, like partnering with, or taking on opportunities with partners that are going to help us like elevate this event.
Do you feel like that creates more or less nuance? And what I mean by nuance is, do you see more feedback by the partners that you're having, the brands that want to involve or collaborate with you, especially with the fans? Like, what do you see? How are the responses to this?
Yeah, so I feel like because we aren't, again, the conglomerate retailer, we have to prove ourselves. So we have to kind of come correct, especially when we're pitching to brands and sponsors, because they want to see like what's in it for them, and
Of
like what
course.
are the analytics, what's the return on investment, so it's not just taking this viral moment and jumping on it just because. Like, we have to really be professional about it
Of
and come in a
course.
way that they know we're serious. So I think that it's just proving to them that we're not just random people that are just deciding to launch an event. It's like we actually have experience, we've done this before, and now it's just like scaling.
Especially with scaling, I want to ask about logistics. What does it actually take to plan something like this? Time, negotiations, partnerships, like
Yeah.
the effort. What does it take?
Oh, it takes a lot.
I can only
A lot
imagine.
of time and effort. It's
Yeah.
nonstop. Like, we haven't had a day off
Of course.
since we decided to do this, and it's been only like 3 going on 4 weeks now since we made this decision. So we've been just nonstop.
Yeah, fast track,
Every day,
of course.
10 calls a day with people. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Literally, all hands on deck.
Yeah.
All hands on deck.
Oh, yeah.
thing. Oh wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's honestly, that's so cool. Comparing ticket prices, launch strategy, and communication transparency. What kind of conversations did you and your team at Innovate actually internally have when it came to affordability and trust around the entire event?
Yes, so we definitely wanted to make it affordable. So
Yes.
we did 3 different tier pricing. We did a base, an extra, and a VIP ticket. To our surprise, most people went for the VIP ticket. So we do have a very heavy VIP ticket crowd.
Oh, nice.
Which is, I guess, a good problem.
It
to
is
have,
good,
right?
right? Like, hey, you guys are here, okay. You talk about tiered pricing and packages at varying price points.
Yes.
Do you think this was a business decision, a value-based decision, or both?
Yeah, so I really do think it's a mixture of the two. So value-based, because we do want to make it very accessible, but we also really communicated straight with the community on like what they're able to spend for this kind of event. And so we are taking that information back and using that to figure out like how much, like based on what they're able to pay, what kind of experience can we deliver on our end.
Not everyone can afford the premium experience. Do you feel as though that's why you did do the tiered experience, the tiered tickets and the tiered, this, that, and the other?
I definitely do.
Yeah.
And but going back to like what actually happened after we launched the pre-sale and the regular sale tickets, it was to our surprise that most people actually opted for VIP. So we're
Wow.
down to like 50 VIP tickets as of today. And we still have a very large amount of base and extras. So yeah, it's just very interesting the way that in general, I feel like people are willing to spend on beauty. It's a big budget.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. And beauty's a big industry to be a part of too, because beauty is not just, the makeup, but it's also the community that surrounds it. And everyone wants to feel beautiful.
Yeah,
everyone wants to feel
exactly.
included. So in beauty and the community, it's not just, a bunch of brands showcasing, but are you going to have things that are a lot more interactive, like master classes and things of that nature? Yeah,
Yes.
I'd love for you to talk about that.
Of course. So yes, we do want to have makeup master classes or beauty master classes. So now we're talking about doing both makeup and maybe a skincare one. We're still finalizing all of the details, but we do want to make it very, very interactive. So the classes, we're also going to have beauty bars where people can get mini facials or mini express beauty services done.
That's so
That's
cool.
going to be really fun. And then, of course, we have the indie brands that will be present that will most likely be like the founders of the brands there in person. So a lot of like meet and greet style things. And then, of course, the beautiful venue and the drinks and the food. So like we kind of want to do a whole day event thing. And we just really want people to have a really great time.
Oh my gosh. I really do think they're going to have a great time, honestly. And I've seen a little bit about InnovateTheLabel and what they do already. And this past December, you guys did an event at Art Basel. And I saw that you guys did a master class there.
Yes.
Receiving off of Art Basel and the feedback there, do you think that not only the interaction is what keeps fans coming back, but also the learning process of it? Like, talk to me about that. How is that important to them, especially in beauty?
Yes. So I did got a lot of really great feedback on that event. So whether it was from people attending or the founders themselves, or even, you know, the artists who did the masterclass, everybody just kind of says the event is very different in the sense that it's not your traditional trade show style event. It's very much rooted in experiences, learning, photo ops, like interacting with one another, building a real community. So there's something very special about our events that I'm really excited to like share with everybody in April.
That's where the real community is fostered, you know, because it's not just going in and meeting the brands and whatever, but it's also the learning process. I feel that's the biggest part. Not everyone knows how to do makeup the way they could or would want to. So, you know, having that opportunity actually really does shine, especially fostering it.
Yeah, and I feel like makeup is truly for everybody. So whether you are a beginner or intermediate or advanced, like sometimes it just takes for you to go to one of these events because you love beauty, and it can inspire you to go home and like start playing with your makeup, because sometimes it's hard. Like even though you're home alone, like it used to be me. That's why I'm talking from experience. Like I loved beauty. I've been in the beauty industry for years now. But I really just recently started putting makeup on.
That's so interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it was just kind of intimidating. I think beauty can feel intimidating because you see so many people that are able to like really pull it off, and like they can be really artistic. It's, you know, it's an art. So but I do now truly believe that, you know, beauty is for everybody. So going to these kind of things and like seeing a makeup artist talk about it in detail, and then you also be able to like ask questions in real time, like that makes it very special, I think.
And you learn new things. You meet new people, learn new things. You're like, I could do this too. I think the I can do this too feeling is the feeling that has the fans come back for more, you know what I'm saying? And it fosters that connection. How do you balance profitability with authenticity, especially in a space that pressures brands to scale up so quickly as the beauty industry?
Yeah, so definitely, especially when it comes to community events, the margins are not that big because again, like it's an in-person event. You have to make sure you're delivering on everything that you promise to people, and you want to make sure they have a really great experience. So for me, I don't want to cheap out on that for people. So I want people to go to this event and feel like they really got like above what they really expected, and that they would come back in a heartbeat for the next one. So, you know.
And that's the ultimate goal next year. Right? Exactly.
Yes.
Speaking of success, what does success look like for you in this event aside from participation and ticket sales?
Yeah, so success, I feel like we've already succeeded.
Yes,
like,
that's the
everything
good part.
is like a cherry on top the day of. It's just like us wanting to really meet everybody's expectations. But really, I really do want people to leave the event feeling like inspired, happy, like just anxious for the next one. Like that would be ultimate success, I think. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. If this event goes as planned, which I'm pretty sure it really will, considering all the planning and all the talk about it, it sounds great. What kind of ripple effect or trend would you want this to continue on in the industry when it comes to beauty in the community?
Yeah, I would want people to definitely give indie beauty brands a bigger chance.
Yeah.
Give them more visibility, you know, have people, you know, more willing to discover these brands and see that they have very high quality stuff. So that is kind of the ripple effect I want to do, is like making the beauty industry feel more inclusive in general.
Yes. And that's what we're all about, is inclusivity and accessibility through community. And I think that's so beautiful, especially showcasing that. I think that's great. When someone leaves the event this upcoming April feeling something, what do you want or what do you expect that feeling could be from them?
Yeah, I think the number one word is inspired. Like, I want them to feel so inspired, whether it be by the makeup artists that they're learning from or the founders that they're meeting, and like them feeling like they are, you know, worthy and are able to do something big as long as they work hard for it. Like, we're so living proof of that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what matters. If you wanted to talk anything about beauty in the community or Innovate itself,
come to our event on April 18th. It's a Saturday. It's going to be an all-day event. We still have tickets available, so you can go to our website, InnovateTheLabel.com, and get your tickets today.
And thank you so much to Helen for her time and sharing her story, her purpose, her intent with us, with not just Innovate the Label, but with beauty in the community this upcoming April. At Socially Speaking, that's what we're all about, is fostering community, understanding what people do when they implement their ideas and put them into action. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I'll see you next time. And if nobody's told you yet, you matter, you care, and you are important. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye, queen.